Hey everybody, this is Emery from Heavy Lifting Records. Today is Thursday, 10 o'clock, and what I want to talk about is after you have a little bit of money saved up, what should you do? I'd mentioned last week to invest in yourself or what your goals are, so you probably have an idea of where you're going next, but if you don't, check your book, see if you're on task. But what's next for me, I guess what I'm doing, aside from keeping the animals at bay here, is I'm just finishing up some parts on some songs that I'm working on, and I am looking to go record in a couple weeks, 2-3 weeks. So that's what's next for me. What should you start with? Should you start with an EP? Should you start with a full album? That just depends on what you've got. In hindsight, an EP probably isn't a bad place to start. In today's world, you could just do a single if you wanted and market that. But think about what's next. Like, what are you gonna do after you have a product? I know it's gonna be a ways after recording till when you actually are done with it, because you're gonna have to mix it, master it, figure out who's going to duplicate it, who's going to print the inserts, if you're going to do it on CD, vinyl, etc. You probably already have all that figured out. What your art's going to be. Where I started after getting the art formatted for my last album, I pretty much thought that okay, once I get the physical copies, distributing it is really all that I need to do. But I found out a lot of it is getting the word out there that you are releasing something, whether it's having some shows reviewed, some songs reviewed, where to take it to get reviewed. A lot of places will charge you for that. Some places will do it for free, but what's the visibility on it? Also, another thing, are you going to distribute it online, or are you going to... You could just sell it at your shows. You don't really have to put it online. In hindsight, I probably would have distributed my album differently. I think I spent more than I probably needed to on that side, and it wasn't as cost effective as I think it could be. So explore your options. I just looked at CD Baby and TuneCore, which are two of the main ones that I recommend at least looking at. Different online distributors, if you're interested in that, do charge an upfront fee to distribute it. So let's say you want your music on iTunes or Spotify and that kind of thing. So you're going to have to pay a company to get it on there. They don't, especially iTunes, they don't really work directly with artists. They work with these companies. You don't have to do that. You could just sell it, create a website, sell it on your own site. Again, just only sell it at shows. You could just do Bandcamp. I think if I were to give advice to myself before I got started, I probably would just have done Bandcamp. You do get some options if you go through TuneCore, which is what I ended up doing. And TuneCore will let you pay to administer the songs that you've published and put out there and distributed out there, and they will you can pay to have them collect on that. It's pros like ASCAP, BMI, that kind of thing. You can pay someone to kind of keep track of how many plays, streams you've got, because there's income that way too. I know some artists starting out, they make like $10 on that a year. So if you kind of weigh that in, where you've got, let's say you're paying, like, I think I paid like $30 through TuneCore to get my music on Spotify, iTunes, etc. But it's an annual fee, and with that, the upside is you get 100% of it. But if you don't expect, or you don't know if the album or songs are going to blow up, CD Baby could be an option. I think you only get 85% of the streaming income, and overall, I could be wrong. Again, check it out yourself. But you only pay like a one-time fee. It is higher than $30. I think it was 2 or 3 times higher. But you don't have to worry about renewing it again. So when the year comes up, I think it'll be August is when I released last year. I don't know if I'm going to renew through TuneCore. So I'm assuming what that will probably mean is after August, you will have to stream my music on Bandcamp, or just get it through me, which I think in hindsight is probably the better DIY indie way to go, unless you have to have it on Spotify. But yeah, so this is going to be a multi-part kind of video series on what's next. But assuming you've got it recorded and you're at the distribution level, that's just some things to look at. Thanks for tuning in. I'll be in playing next Thursday, 10 o'clock. See you next time.